All right, hey everyone, this is Julien from Memory Cards. I'm here with Jake.
Hello.
What up, what up? We're going to be talking about E3 today, everything that was announced, talked about, all the stuff that happened
What
there.
we're most hyped about.
Yeah, what was the hype? What wasn't the hype? What was the disappointment? There was both. A lot of both, I think.
I mean, that's usual though for any E3.
Yeah, I guess so. There's usually, quite a bit of both. I think this year,
Yeah.
I think this year I was pretty like lukewarm on everything. I don't know. I just felt that, and this is like the interesting thing, right? Is that usually, the stuff that I get hyped up on is like the big AAA blockbuster, Xbox or whatever PS4 games.
Yeah.
And the Nintendo stuff hasn't reached me in a few years now. When the Wii U was announced, I got no response from that for me. I was nothing. I haven't been into Nintendo for a while. The Wii really killed it for me. The Wii killed it for me. I'll say that. But
then tell people what happened this year.
okay, Rayman and Mario, the Rabbids.
Well, it's not Rayman.
It's not. Well, they came from Rayman. They're a Rayman character, right?
Yeah.
So the Rayman's rabbit friends,
Basically minions.
they're basically Rayman's minion friends, teamed up with Big Papa Mario, and made a nice little game called. You know what? Okay, it's called Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, right?
Yeah.
But why didn't they call it Everybody Loves Ray Mario?
Shit.
They missed such an opportunity, and even just a crossover. And like Ray Romano could have voiced the Rabbids.
Yeah. Well, if anybody from Nintendo or Ubisoft are listening to this, that should be an expansion.
At least a DLC pack.
At least
featuring the characters of the hit show Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah, and then that would just be perfect.
I would pre-order that DLC, which is saying a lot these days with how people feel about that.
It's pretty sad that you can actually pre-order a digital downloadable content.
The state of games is strange. I'll say that.
But anyway,
yeah.
Let's get back on topic.
Right.
Here.
So Everybody Loves Ray Mario was the hit. I loved it. I loved what I saw, and Nintendo at that point when they that was shown at the Ubisoft conference, right?
Yeah.
That was when I first saw it in action, and there had been rumors that there was going to be some sort of Rabbids Mario crossover game. That was
lots of rumors.
Right,
there was lots
of
stuff leaked for it.
Right. It was going to be some sort of RPG in some regard. I heard that it was similar to a Paper Mario game, which it isn't, as far as I could tell. But they showed it off, and it's like, oh, okay, so this is Mario plus the Rabbids plus XCOM, like the same type of gameplay as an XCOM game, a tactical strategy. Almost like I get tactical strategy is like as a whole, but it's also almost like a board game, right? Because you move your pieces, your characters around this grid.
I can see that.
So it's like
it definitely takes influence from XCOM, probably a bit of Fire Emblem.
Yeah, exactly. So that was like my big moment, right? Where I was like, okay, Nintendo is going to have the presence here. And of course, and they did. And we'll get to that. We'll talk about all of Nintendo and why they had the best presence there. Do you agree with that? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. I definitely agree with that.
Okay. So we'll discuss that. But I think we should start with the conferences, right? Before we talk about the E3 experience as a whole. But as per usual, every year, E3.
There's three main hitters.
Right. There's three big conferences. There's Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft or Xbox. And then, of course, a couple other devs have presentations as well, Bethesda and Ubisoft and there's like a PC gaming one, but no one fucking watches that. And then that's it, right? So it was just Ubisoft and Bethesda who had the other two big press conferences, right? I think so.
And EA. They weren't.
Okay, EA too.
But they weren't really at the conference. They just did their own thing.
That's
the
right.
Day before.
That's right. So EA actually had the first one, right? EA's press conferences was first.
EA Play.
EA Play. That's right. So, which one of those? All right, let's toss Nintendo to the side because they're on their own right here because they stand out.
Bye Nintendo.
See you later. Bye bye Miyamoto. Bye bye Reggie. You did it. You did the best E3. Good job.
We get it. We get it.
Yeah,
okay.
It's over. Now move aside. Out of the remaining conferences, which one stands out to you as potentially being the runner-up to Nintendo?
Honestly, and I've seen this around a lot, I'm going to say Ubisoft.
Interesting, really.
Yeah, just because the Mario and Rabbids game looked really sick. The Assassin's Creed stuff looked okay.
Yeah.
Like, I've never been a huge fan of Assassin's Creed. That pirate game looked kind of interesting, but then I found out that it was all only in boats, which I don't really care for that.
Yeah, so that pirate game did look kind of cool, you know. I like the idea of a ship combat game, sort of.
Yeah.
The ship combat in Assassin's Creed Black Flag was really good. Probably the best thing about that game. And to think of a game that's specifically designed to be a competitive online, it looks like mostly ship battle game. It looks pretty cool and interesting console experience. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of PC, Steam games that do that already. Because there's Steam games for everything. But I don't know if the consoles have ever, like, at least I know this generation hasn't had any games like that.
Centralized around pirate boat battling.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, clear my throat.
But yeah, like I definitely think that was one of my favorite ones. Like, I'm gonna be honest right now, the Bethesda one and the Xbox one were both kind of like my least favorite ones.
Okay, so Bethesda was definitely what I thought would be the runner-up to Nintendo.
Oh, okay.
Because you know me, I love some Bethesda games, and you too. I know you do too. You found it to be a fan.
It's just they only really announced 2 new games. I don't think they really needed a huge press conference for 2 games.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I see what you mean, and I could see that. They didn't really have as much like oeuvre as they did when they had a Fallout 4 to announce.
Yeah.
And I think that what I've seen, at least in the past week, it's now been a week since E3's come and gone, and we have seen across the internet the reaction to Bethesda and a lot of the press conferences that showed this stuff is that people are kind of over the whole Skyrim thing. People aren't interested in Skyrim as much as they used to, obviously.
Well, I mean, I can't really fault them. Like, I'm pretty pissed off that they're like putting out Skyrim for like the 30th time in 6 years. Yeah,
I mean, they're definitely milking that cow for sure.
Don't get me wrong, Skyrim's a great game, but like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, it is. Undeniably a good game, and I think a lot of people at this point are a little bit oversaturated, right? Like, who wants to go and have to start from square one again, and create a new character and exist in that world when potentially they've done it 4 times already or 3
for full
times.
Price again.
For full price, right? So, but besides that, Bethesda obviously showed off Fallout VR and Doom VR. Skyrim VR was shown off in, I think, the Sony press conference. Yeah. But I think the reason why I enjoyed the Bethesda reveals so much is that Evil Within 2 and Wolfenstein 2 both look super good.
Yeah, the Evil Within 2 looks really, really, really good.
Did you play Evil Within?
I think I played a bit of it. Like, I never beat it. I know that. I honestly don't even think I played more than like an hour or 2, but like, I really enjoyed it. It's just I got caught up with other things.
Yeah. I actually really liked Evil Within, and it was one of the first good Xbox One experiences I had. Like, I think it came out about a year after launch, for the Xbox One.
Yeah, I believe so.
And came out around like Halloween, like October-ish time. And
So like the perfect time for
yeah,
a horror game.
exactly. I was really looking forward to it because I knew Bethesda was putting it out, and picked it up, played like an hour of it, and I was like, whoa, like this game is doing some really weird stuff.
It's kind of like a throwback to like the older Resident Evil games.
Yeah, it 100%
where it's like a bit
is.
slower. You know, it's not as run and gun.
Yeah, no, it totally is. It's totally a throwback to Silent Hill and Resident Evil, like the early versions of those games. You know, before they turned into like these massive like first person, or not first person, but third person action shooters. Evil Within's definitely a slow paced, almost like crawling sometimes. It's so slow. But you know, the atmosphere is great. The camera's a little wonky in it. I think that it's in like a letterbox format.
Yeah, which I mean, I found that kind of cool because like it makes it feel like it's a movie. You know?
Yeah, it definitely is cinematic in a way. But I don't know. I think the reactions to that game were pretty neutral. You know, I don't think anyone was like, "Whoa, this game is fantastic" or whatever.
I thought they were pretty. Yeah, they were pretty mixed. Like some of them were mixed.
Right.
But I mean, that's a given for pretty much any video game. Like that's not Zelda or like Mario or something.
True. So Evil Within 2, they showed off. It looks great. It looks scary. It looks spooky. You know, I'm not one to really. I don't get spooked out by games really. I mean, the only game that's come close in recent years is the Alien Isolation, because that game is pretty spooked out. But you know, I don't think I'm going to be playing Evil Within 2 for one, you know, like wanting to have that experience. And maybe that's why those games don't scare me, because I don't have that mindset. You know, I'm not like wanting to be scared. But anyway, it looks fantastic. And then Wolfenstein 2 had a crazy, cool trailer that seems like super wacky. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And
like they always throw a bit of like humor into their games too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think Wolfenstein as a whole, while not entirely on the same level as Duke Nukem, does find itself in that same vein of like,
you're like a badass.
Yeah, you're like a super powered human that's like not really super powered, but carries huge guns, and there's humor to some degree. And you know, in the first Wolfenstein, you know, on this gen was good. It was a good game, and it had a lot to offer. So both those looked great, and I think got a lot to look forward to for those games. Other stuff from Bethesda, maybe not so much. The Dishonored
I did
2
like
thing.
their conference overall, the way that they put it together, like the Bethesda Land thing. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. The Bethesda Land it was a cool concept, but I remember when I saw that stuff, I think some of the pictures of that concept art was leaked before E3, so I was, I think, really hoping that once I got to E3 that they were going to have like a huge area set up that was like a theme park and actually like a Bethesda Land. Which is probably doable on the E3 show floor, but they did not have that set up.
No.
And okay, so Bethesda and Ubisoft were, you know, decent. We each liked the other. What did you think of Sony? Because you're way more into Sony than I have been.
I was really looking forward to Sony's. I was really hoping, after the disappointment that the Xbox One was that Sony would come through, you know, and show off a lot of, you know, really cool stuff that they've been working on.
Yeah.
Because I was so incredibly hyped for the Spider-Man game, a few others. I can't really remember them right now, but they also did a pre-show to their E3 thing, which I actually just found out the other day, like announced quite a few games that I feel like should have been in their conference.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, the Sony one overall was pretty friggin' disappointing.
Yeah.
Just because basically their entire E3 was like, hey guys, this is the stuff that we showed you in 2016. Don't forget, we're still working on it.
Right. They had an interesting way of of doing their conference, where they didn't really have many breaks in between. In between showing games, they kind of just showed a bunch of game trailers like back to back to back.
Yeah. Which that's what like Nintendo does now.
Yeah. So they have that format, which is.
But it also seems like why did they even have a conference either? Like, you know what I mean? Why did they have a huge thing in an actual Coliseum or whatever, in an actual place,
in the
like
theater,
they could have just streamed that, like.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, because Nintendo doesn't have like a actual conference where people go to it. At least they haven't for the past couple years. What they do, as you just said, is just stream it online and show trailers back to back as announcements. And
they have like a humongous like show floor where you can play like all the games.
Yeah, and let's cover that in a second. But Sony did sort of copy that format where they did have a press conference and they did have a theater full of fans and media, and they basically just showed them trailers for an hour.
It was pretty cool though, seeing like heavy hitter game after heavy hitter game, like just right back to back.
Right. So
because a lot of the games, like, don't even get me wrong, a lot of the games they showed looked fantastic. Yeah. Like the Spider-Man game, like, oh my god, I'm ever excited for that.
They closed out their conference with the Spider-Man game, and if it plays as well as it looks like it plays, it's going to be great. Like, it's going to be a very well-reviewed game. We only have time to see now if that game actually comes out looking as good as it looks. Because, there, of course, is a lot of disappointment that comes with certain games that are shown at E3 and don't live up to it. So if it is able to live up to what they've shown, I don't see a reason why that wouldn't be like a super well reviewed and awesome game.
Yeah, like there's like I could, like I think every single Sony exclusive that's come out in the last little while, like Horizon Zero Dawn, Neo, Nier Automata. I mean, I know that was on PC as well, but I think like Persona 5, all of those games are just like powerhouses, like
killing it. Just killing it.
Absolutely.
And so Sony showed off a couple games besides Spider-Man. Days Gone sticks out, which it's obviously shown before. They showed it last year as well. They showed more gameplay for that, which I mean, the game looks good, but like God of War, like all of that stuff, they shouldn't have showed it. Before. Yeah. I mean, what they basically said without saying it by showing these games is that this is what we continue to have been working on since last E3. It's still not out yet, but it's coming. Here's some more, another look at it.
I just feel like they should have had more games that were like, oh, this is coming out this year. This is coming out in like 2 weeks. I don't think there was much of that.
Right. And so, what Microsoft did is they had a super long conference. Their conference was almost 2 hours, I feel like. And they showed off a bunch of games, and then they showed off a bunch of indie games as well, which, PlayStation, Sony showed off some VR stuff, which looks cool. But Microsoft showed off this huge showcase of what they deem to be their like indie development, because that's what they're trying to hype, and they've been trying to hype for the past couple of years. Is like, we want to be the indie developer on the console, right?
And honestly, like, that was just, like, their entire presentation, they were like, at the beginning, Phil Spencer came out and he was so hyped. He was like, we have like something crazy, like 42 exclusives, like, that we're announcing today. And I'm pretty sure like 25 of them ended up being probably even more like indie games. Like, and I don't have any issue with indie games. Like, the majority of the games that I play now are, I would say, indie, like just smaller titles. Cause like sometimes I just don't have the willpower to like slug through, a humongous story. Yeah. But like the Xbox conference was just such a letdown, especially because they, like, right off the bat, they talked about like, oh, this is the most powerful console ever, followed by like 2 hours of like indie game footage.
Right. So that was their big thing, was the Xbox One X, which was codenamed Scorpio. We've known it was called Scorpio. And now we know it as the Xbox One X, which, that name is kind of silly. But when you think about it, it's like, what else would they have called it, They weren't going to call it the Xbox 2.
I mean, yeah.
So they could have called it the Xbox 1.1, or they could have called it other things. But when you look at it at a glance, I could see their line of thinking for calling it the Xbox One X. But I mean, saying that it just sounds kind of stupid, don't you think? I mean, Xbox One X sounds like you're a robot.
It was just annoying.
Yeah. It is, and people are annoyed by it, and people I've seen on Reddit and other places just rag that name so hard.
And like that's part of the reason, but like the game or the Xbox itself rather, like yeah, it's super powerful, but apparently it still can't even run games in true 4K.
Right. So what you mean is you've seen some rumors. Apparently there are rumors circulating.
Well, they're not even rumors. I don't think they're by Digital Foundry, which is a pretty reputable.
Okay.
And they've said, like we've looked at the Anthem footage and like the Assassin's Creed. I mean, granted, those games aren't fully completed in development yet, but neither of them are true 4K.
Interesting. So, well, there is something to think about, and I guess we'll see. The Xbox One X comes out this year. It's being labeled as the most powerful console ever to be sold, with true, right, quotation marks, 4K gaming. And they threw out a lot of, technical terms to make it sound super crazy. And then they showed off a car for some reason.
6.3 teraflops.
Exactly. And then they showed off a car.
Yeah, they announced a car.
Like that was a big deal. They're
like a physical, a Porsche.
Yeah, it was there and someone was in it, but we don't know who was in it. But
it was like a 10-minute segment. It's like you're talking about video games. I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah, I mean, I muted my stream when I was witnessing this. I said I don't want any part of this.
Like I'm not. I can barely afford to buy video games. I'm not going to buy like a $2 million Porsche.
Exactly. So those are the conferences at a glance, right? So they're all available online. If you haven't seen them, if there's one that you think you might want to watch, please watch the Nintendo one.
Yeah, we'll link them down below.
Yeah, and there's no weird crowd reactions. There's no crowd at all. And if you're a fan of video games, Nintendo really nailed it. But
yeah, oh my god.
Anyway, so let's quickly go over the E3 presentation at the actual event. So E3 is a 4-day event, and 3 days of it this year were open to the public for the first time, which means anyone could buy a ticket. I think the tickets were a little over $100. Don't quote me on that. I didn't pay for a ticket, so I don't know how much they were.
I'm quoting you right now.
Please quote me on that. Quote me on me saying don't quote me on that, and then I'll let you run that. Okay, so
okay. Fair enough.
So, they sold 15,000 tickets to the public this year, which means they added 15,000 people, obviously, to the event. And so last year's numbers were, I think, a little over 50,000 attended E3 in 2016, and this year it was a little over 70,000. So that means they increased their E3 attendance by 20,000. So 15,000.
Which is pretty big.
Yeah, it's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. And the difference between 50,000 and 70,000 is pretty noticeable. So I'll say that I've been going to E3 for about 5 years in a row now. And each year that I've gone, which I've been very lucky enough to go, I'm very grateful for that. But each year that I've gone, it's gotten more and more and more crowded steadily. The first year I was there, it was straight up like empty. It was so easy to get around.
Yeah.
and like demo stuff and talk to developers. It was great. Now, not so much. Myself and a lot of media experience the same problems, or new problems, I guess I should say, of the, now there being a higher population of the public there. So it was harder to demo games, harder to try things, harder to talk to devs. Pretty much, if you're not having an appointment with someone to talk to them specifically, you're not going to talk to them. So yeah, very crowded, very hard to get around, very long lines. Lines are super long. And, I know you specifically would have been so bummed out if you were there. Like you
Well, I mean, I've heard of a lot of people saying like that did go to E3 this year. They brought like their Switches and a bunch of games and stuff.
I did see that.
I feel like if I did that, I would have been a little bit better. But I'm not really the most patient person.
No,
so.
you would have been mad, I think.
Yeah.
And you would have just been like so angry at the people around you.
Yeah.
I feel like you would have reached a boiling point and you would have just started screaming and swinging on people. Like,
well, I mean, maybe we'll find out next year.
Yeah, hopefully. But it's gonna be interesting to see what the devs and the media's response to this was. Because I feel like a lot of people at media outlets I follow were saying, that how disappointed they were with the lines and with the crowd, and if there's going to be any blowback from them to maybe pressure E3 to not go public again next year.
Well, like I feel like they kind of had to because it costs so much to do E3, right? So they have to make their money somehow.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, I'm not sure if money was an issue for them or if they just felt like this was the direction that E3 was going. I'm not sure where that decision came from to go public, but I do know that I can say that I've watched it evolve in the last couple of years to be more and more and more inclusive to the public. Mm-hmm. For example, last year E3 was still closed to the public. You couldn't buy tickets. You had to register with them and fill out applications on why you should be there. You needed to have work for a company or have some sort of operation involved in the industry or in a similar industry.
Yeah, or get a good friend.
Exactly. Last year, EA had a event that was adjacent to E3. E3 is at the Los Angeles Convention Center every year, and like a block down from it is a theater called Nokia Theater, and EA rented it out and put a event there called what was it called? It might have been called EA Play, actually.
Yeah, that was the same. I think they've been doing that for 2 years now.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, it was called EA Play, and that was open to the public. You can go, you could wait in line, and you can get in, and you could demo the new games that were coming out. So that was what I noticed was like trying to include more of the just general population, not to be more inclusive. And I don't know if E3 looked at that and said, okay, like now's the time, we want to make this as available as possible to the gaming community, So
yeah.
Anyway, that was like probably the big thing about E3 this year was that it was open to the public for the first time. So we've talked a little bit about my experience there, just me and you. And so how I feel as a whole. So I don't want to like get too personable with this and like go over my opinions on everything, but there are some things from there that I feel like it's important to bring up. That I think you touched on it briefly earlier is that Nintendo not only had probably the best press conference, but their show floor was like incredible.
Yeah, I got to see a little bit of that from the stream.
Right. So you kind of saw the layout, right, of how it was set up to look like a
The new Donk City.
Yeah, the new Donk City, right? Which, I mean, come on, Donk City.
It's a great name.
I love it. I want to live in New Donk City. Can I be a resident?
The people in New Donk City, they call themselves New Donkians.
What does it take to be a New Donkian? Come on.
Yeah, like I want to be that.
I want to be a Donk boy, and I hope that I will when Super Mario Odyssey comes out in October this year.
October 27th, pay us, Nintendo.
Pay us. Take me to New Donk already. So, yeah. So they had Nintendo had their whole area built to resemble what seems like maybe the main hub world from Super Mario Odyssey, which is New Donk City. So they had like these big enclosure. It was like a big booth enclosure set up where all of it was a mural of the city, and they had like street signs, and it was very, very well done. And of course, most of their show floor area was just demo areas for Super Mario Odyssey, and then the lines being like 4 hours
because like
long.
that was their huge heavy hitter this year.
Yeah, whereas last year it was Breath of the Wild on the Switch.
Yeah,
and last year they had their area set up to be Zelda, and now it's all Mario, of course, the other Nintendo boy. So, other than Nintendo, Bethesda had the area where it seemed to be the thing that they spent the most time on was Wolfenstein 2, because they actually built a diner, like a prop diner inside the E3 show floor area.
I did hear about that, yeah.
It's pretty cool, man. Like, if you look up pictures, it's a straight up 50s diner, and that's where you went in to demo Wolfenstein 2.
I like when they do that because it's really immersive.
Yeah, it totally is. It's super well done, and it shows that they're going the extra mile and really care about that game, you know? Like, they want that game to be successful. They want the public to appreciate it. And based on the reactions I've seen so far, I think that's going to happen. So, yeah, I mean, E3 was fun. The lines were long. It was hot and weird at some points. Hot and sticky. Hot, sticky, and stinky, which you never want.
Well, I mean, when you're in a place, you know, with 70,000 people, it's bound to get stinky.
True. And, you know, kind of well ventilated, but definitely when you're waiting in line with a bunch of people who have been there all day, it can get messy. It can get messy. So I was there for only one day, spent the whole day there, had an okay time, got to demo some stuff out. Lines were pretty long, so I didn't get to try everything. Didn't try Mario.
Did you get any free stuff?
Did I get any free stuff? You know, I usually don't. I usually don't like carrying stuff. So
yeah, you know, I've been places, you know, nothing as big as that, but like I've been to places where they'll give out like little pins or little posters or something, and I'd be like, oh, this is really cool, but I don't want to carry this for the next 12 hours.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I got a bunch of junk last year from the Titanfall 2 people. I got like a bag full of Titanfall shirts and a couple pins.
Could have sold them on eBay.
I guess. But
coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda. Coulda, shoulda, threw them in the trash. As in, I coulda, and I shoulda, and I didda.
Should have lit it on fire. No, we're joking. We're like, I like Titanfall 2. Anyway.
Yeah, good game. Yeah, so no, I didn't get anything this year. I didn't feel like carrying anything. I was just like, I'm gonna wait in line for the stuff I want to play. You know, I think I waited for an hour and a little over an hour, maybe an hour and a half to play the new, what we talked about already, Mario Rabbids. That should be the theme for this episode of this podcast is Mario Rabbids.
Well, I was gonna title it "We Want to Be New Donkians."
We want to be New Donkians. That's true. I also want to live in
Rabbids.
The Battle Kingdom.
Make
with
us
the
one
Rabbids.
of them.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it was a good experience, I think. So that's a kind of like a brief overview of my experience there. But let's talk about what we're looking forward to the most, and then we can discuss what we were disappointed the most about.
Talking about the future.
Exactly. Let's talk about that future. Let's go back to the future right now.
Boom.
Boom. So go ahead.
Let's talk about the biggest. Well, no, we already talked about that. Let's talk about what our most hyped, I guess, announcement in general, or
yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. You want
to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay.
So,
do you want me to do a little drum roll, or?
I feel like the drum roll wouldn't be sufficient for Mario Rabbids.
Oh,
maybe a cannon blast.
Just gonna drop it out there and say it.
Launch me in a cannon. That might do it.
I'll put a cannon right there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, the console, the Scorpio, did nothing for me. I might buy that in a few years. Who knows? I got the Xbox One S. I don't need it right now. The Xbox One S is the Xbox One Scorpio. That's what the S stands for, basically.
Okay, yeah. They announced they put it out early by accident for a few people.
They did. They accidentally put the Scorpio out.
Yeah, you've had it for over a year now.
Yeah,
I guess
it was the test model. It was what they are using to test.
Okay, yeah.
So, I mean, I can't really beat around the proverbial bush here.
The George Bush.
I can't beat George Bush right now. But what I can say is that Mario Rabbids is the most hype thing from E3 2017. It hyped me up so hard. I was so hard when I left E3.
Okay, tell them what you did.
I left E3. I went home.
Let's paint this picture. Everybody listening, close your eyes right now.
Close your eyes. Let me take you on this journey.
Okay.
Here I am in the back of a car leaving E3 in a lift, right? The car service.
Okay. Yep.
The man is talking to me about why he was telling bad Trump jokes, right? And I wasn't listening. He wanted to talk. He didn't smell good.
Okay.
He had been in his hot car all day.
Okay, I need to know I need to know, so like it'll be like I'm there with you, and I'm sure our listeners will feel the same.
Yeah.
What did he smell like? If you had to put it down to like two smells.
I'll tell you. Yeah, it smelled like he went to 7-Eleven.
Okay.
He got a hot dog with extra relish.
Okay.
He brought it into his hot car.
Just left it there?
He ate half of it.
Okay.
Then put it on the seat. And then
I guess he got like a notification on his phone saying, "Hey, this guy needs to be picked up over here." And he's like, "Oh crap."
Yeah, oh crap, he freaks out. He left his car. He got so panicked by getting that note. He left his car. He walked away from it. I don't know why.
Like he walked to go pick up the person instead?
Yes, he just walked there. He forgot to take his car. And so he left his car with the car door open and the hot dog sitting on the seat. And a transient, a vagabond, a hobo came, got in the car and fell asleep there for 4 hours.
Oh my
He fell
God.
on top of the hot dog. And once the man got back, the Lyft driver got back, he kicked the hobo out, threw the hot dog away, and came and picked me up.
Get out of my car!
Get off my hot dog. Ate the rest of the hot dog. Came and picked me up. So there you go for the situation.
It took 4 hours for you to get this ride.
Yes, it took 4 hours for him to get to me because he had to walk back to his car.
Yeah. So I mean, it happens, right? You can't be too mad.
Yeah.
So
there
we got the plan out of the way.
Yeah.
We got the smell.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're in the car with you right now.
Yeah. We're in the car. I'm in the back of that car. Mm-hmm. The
hype from
powering.
E3, the hype from the Nintendo Switch is going through your veins.
All I can think about.
Nintendo!
Yeah, I close my eyes and I see little rabbids running in front of my eyelids.
And let me ask you this: did you ever picture that you would even want to play a game with rabbids in it ever?
No, hell no.
Of course not.
Why I would never go near a rabbit.
Exactly. Why would you?
I'm not interested in those rabbits. Or so I thought.
Yeah.
I saw rabbits and Princess Peach.
Oh, side note, she actually they made an Instagram account for that. Rabid Peach.
I need to follow that immediately.
So she's just uploading selfies, and Anyway, so what happened? What's next?
So I'm in that lift. It takes me home. I'm shaking, basically. My mind is just going a mile a minute.
You're not shaking out of anger.
No, it wasn't frustration. It wasn't an anger shake. It was pure bliss and excitement and hype. And so I said, okay, I say to myself, what do I need to do right now? Well,
what does he need to do?
I don't own a Nintendo Switch right now. I still don't own
And the
one.
only Nintendo console you own was a 3DS.
Yes, a 3DS that I don't play. It just sits somewhere in my house. I don't even know.
Yeah.
And I took the day off from work. My girlfriend's not home yet. It's about 4:30 in the evening.
So you're thinking, what can I do to ruin my life?
Yes. What can I do to throw another wrench in my old relationship? Well, I know. I'll try to buy a Switch right now and won't stop until I find one. Now, I live in California.
Cannot stop, will not stop.
I will not. I will not not switch and buy. Wait. I will.
Yeah, Jaden.
All right, forget it. I said I'm gonna.
So you open up your GameStop site. You open up Best Buy.
I open up
Amazon.
my sites.
No switches to be found.
No switches to be found. I go to all my sites.
And then the ecstatic shake turns to anger shake.
Then it did become an anger shake.
Okay.
I started throwing things. I punched my computer. I said, you gotta give me that Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
So what do? I
remember, you made me call the Nintendo headquarters.
I did.
And try to ship one to you, but they said, no, we can't.
They said, who is this? And they couldn't understand you because you were just screaming.
They said, wait, you only have 220 subscribers on YouTube? Bitch, bye.
And they hung up. So rude.
They did.
So I did what the only option at that point was,
The only option left.
I built my own Nintendo Switch out of sticks and old computer parts.
It's true. You know what? It works better than the Switch that I own.
It's basically, it runs Breath of the Wild
the new
so
Nintendo
well.
sticks.
It runs Breath of the Wild so well that it feels like I'm outside. And the trick is because I actually am outside.
Yeah, well, I mean,
It's just
you're
real
just
life.
in the forests around California.
Yeah. That's where I'm recording this from.
You're hitting cars with a stick. Anyway, so you opened up what website next?
The Craigslist. The
good old
list of
Craigslist killer.
Yes. And I went and searched up Nintendo Switch in my area, and lo and behold, there was one for sale, new in box, still sealed, unopened. I heard that sound. I found the number. I texted so fast, my thumbs caught fire. I said,
"Yep,
I gotta get me that Switch. Is it for sale?"
And then the guy said, "No, I just put it up to gloat."
He did. He said, "I'm not actually selling this. I just wanted to hurt people's feelings, and
it's just a subtle troll."
It's just a subtle troll.
Yeah.
Actually, what he did say was, I do have that Switch. Come on down.
Okay.
I can meet you tonight at a Starbucks down the street. I'll sell you that Switch."
Were you a little scared? Did you bring backup?
I did. I brought my brother with me because I said,
Okay.
You always got to have a partner when you're doing Craigslist.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Can't go in alone. That's too sketchy.
No, because it might be the Craigslist killer.
It might be.
The Nintendo Switch beater.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The beater boy.
Yeah.
It was not the beater boy. It was a normal man, and he sold me that Switch, and I've had the Switch for a week now, officially. I'm loving it.
And let's be honest, you got a pretty damn good deal on that, because by my understanding, you paid, $50 more than it should have cost, but you also got Zelda, so it's kind of like...
I did. I paid $360 for it, and I got a sealed Switch with the red and blue Joy-Cons.
I mean, so then, to be honest,
Zelda.
you're coming out paying less than what it would have cost to get it from the store, right?
Yeah,
because
pretty much. With taxes and stuff, it would have been way over
exactly.
$360. It would have been probably $400.
Let's be honest, I think you might have ripped that guy off.
Don't tell them. We can't tell them.
Okay, no. Don't listen. Yeah. Don't
If you're
listen
listening to this, turn it off right now, even though you've already heard everything.
It was just a joke, though.
We were just joking. Now turn it off.
Yeah. So, and I mean, since you've got the Switch, you got Zelda and you got ARMS.
I have Switch. I have the Nintendo Switch. I have Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Fantastic game. Love it.
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild, top 10. Game of the year, 10 out of 10. Yep. All the 10s.
Okay.
ARMS is good. I played a little bit of it. We'll probably do a review on it, or I'll do one. We'll talk about it some other time.
Yeah.
So, to circle back to where this whole thing started, the thing I'm looking forward to the most is the Nintendo Switch as a whole, all the stuff they announced for it, the new Pokemon core game that's going to be on it, Mario Odyssey, and Everybody Loves Ray Mario. I love it. So that is, for me, my top hype, my top choice. It's number one.
Okay.
Now it's your turn.
Number one.
Please.
It's a number one.
It's a number one.
Okay, well, I don't have any crazy story about this, but my number one most hyped thing from E3 is definitely Mario Odyssey, followed by the Rabbids game. Mario Odyssey just looks so good.
Dude, I could talk probably for a year straight just about how good it looks.
It just, but it makes me feel like a kid again, gonna go play Super Mario Sunshine or Mario 64. Yeah. And it looks like it's gonna be a huge game. Yeah. That just overall, it just looks amazing. But then there's also gonna be, you can change you could change your suit in Mario. There's a bunch of new mechanics. You can control other characters with his hat.
You can control a regular sized person. A real human being.
Like a new Donkian.
A new Donkian. Become a new Donkian. That's going to be our dream realized.
That should be the tagline for the game. Also, Nintendo, if you're listening, if you use that
copyright
tagline, you owe us.
Copyright.
Yeah. But yeah, let's be honest. This year as a whole, I think the Nintendo Switch is really hitting it out of the park. Yeah. Because this seems like the strongest first year for a console that I can remember.
Yeah, they're doing pretty well. I mean, they might not have.
It launches with Zelda. Yeah. It gets ARMS. It got ARMS in June. Gets Splatoon 2 in July. Yeah. Mario and Rabbids in August.
They're sailing on cloud 9.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And they can't even keep these things on the store shelves.
No, they're flying off the shelves.
Yeah, it's it came out March 3rd. It is June 21st, June 20th. I can't remember. And there's nothing. Stores around me, sometimes I'll just walk into EDB Games or Best Buy and there's nothing.
You can't. It's empty. The stocks are.
all the games are there, but yeah, the consoles are
gone,
just not there.
No,
they're sometimes we'll get them. Yeah, sometimes I'm pretty sure each store gets a shipment once a week, and then once they're there, boom, gone.
I don't even know if that's happening in California right now, honestly, because I called around a few places when I was on my mission to get one, and everyone was basically laughing at me. If I was there, they would have laughed in my face, but they laughed at my face through the phone.
Kissed me through the phone?
Yeah. They kissed me and laughed at me through the phone, and I was upset. But
yeah, I mean, I don't know. The last two consoles that came out from Nintendo, the Wii and the Wii U, were the Wii did sell 20,000 billion copies of the console, but it didn't do anything for me. And the Wii U, I got suckered into buying one, and I'm looking at it right now on my shelf, and it's just full of dust.
Yeah, and mine became dust. It doesn't exist anymore. It's just a pile of dust now.
Yeah, yours just disintegrated.
Yeah, it was reclaimed by the earth.
Yeah, they were like, well, you don't need this anymore, so it's gonna go back to us.
Exactly. So that means we both agree somewhat that the things that we've seen and look forward to the most are the new Switch games that are coming out this year. Clap away, because we did it. We agreed. And now that means we
did it, Nintendo.
We did it. And now we get to talk about the things the one thing or two things, whatever, that we thought, each of us.
And we might even agree on this too.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. Let's find out.
All right.
I'm going to tell you right now what probably the biggest disappointment for me.
Do you want to do a countdown? We'll go 3, 2, 1, and then we each say what it is.
I like that.
It could be the same thing.
Okay. All right. Ready?
Okay. You ready?
Yeah. 3.
You guys out there ready?
Everyone listen up.
Okay.
Everyone shut your mouth and listen. All right. Ready?
If you make one peep, I will shit on your doorstep.
Yeah, and then we'll start the countdown over until we get it right.
Yeah.
Okay. Ready?
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Crackdown 3.
Fuck.
Well, you really put me on the spot there. What happened?
I forgot. I was gonna say the Xbox One X.
Well, I guess we're close, but
no. Wait. Crackdown 3.
Oh, there we go. That's my boy. Crackdown 3 looks like
pee.
Yes, it looks like a toilet full of horrible things.
Yeah, urine. I mean, the one thing that did get me really hyped up, Terry Crews comes out and he's like, "I'm Terry Crews."
He did say that.
Then I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
And then I was so hyped, and then it showed gameplay, and then I was like, "What the hell is this?"
I said,
"Like, what is this?"
I said that too. I yelled at my screen. I said, "What is this? What is happening? Put Terry Crews back. Give me Terry Crews again, because this is awful."
Like, yeah. If he's in the game just constantly yelling like, "I'm Terry Crews, let's blow shit up," like, I'm okay with that.
I would pay full retail price for that game.
I would pay double retail price for that game. But honestly, I went back and looked at gameplay of like Crackdown 2, and the new Crackdown, it looks like they were like, let's just make the same game, but I think
shittier.
Like half of the designers like fell asleep.
Yeah, dude. I must say that something happened here, because it looks like they said, let's make a game that is called Crackdown 3, and it's part of the Crackdown franchise, but let's pretend we're still making a sequel to a game that was on the 360.
Yeah, it came out in like 2005.
Exactly. And they said, let's use the same technology that we had when the 360 was,
yeah, let's not even make a new engine.
Yeah, they all sat around and said, let's make Crackdown 3 for the Xbox 360.
You know what?
And then
It's like they started development back in like 2006, and then somebody froze their entire development. Like, they froze the entire, I guess, building they work in for like 10 years, and was like, "Oh shit!"
It was like Captain America waking up from the Ice Age,
and then just
from being frozen in a glacier,
continuing working on the same thing.
Exactly, dude, nailed it. That's exactly what happened. Because,
or alternate theory, all of their money that they were going to use to develop the game went towards hiring Terry Crews.
Yeah, that could be.
Terry Crews is just like, "I'm Terry Crews. I need $38 million."
It might be. He's. You would think he's a humble guy, but
I don't know, man.
What actually happened was he took
hitter.
all the budget. He took all the budget
after being in the Old Spice commercials, and then Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which is one of my favorite shows. He's up there. He said, if you want me in Crackdown 3, you got to give me that Old Spice money.
Yeah, and Old Spice pays him about $40 million per commercial.
Old Spice pays him about $40 million per word, I heard.
Per word.
Yeah.
So, the Crackdown 3 gave all of its budget to Terry Crews, and they couldn't make the game. And I saw this game on the show floor at E3, and I'm like not lying to your face
this
now.
This is what I'm picturing. You walking by the booth, no one there to play it, and the devs being like, "Hey, man, can you come play?"
Yeah, unfortunately, there was a line. Unfortunately. And it looked like I was going back in time and watching the Microsoft conference from 2005, seeing Crackdown for the first time. Because, seriously, all jokes aside, it actually looks like an Xbox 360 game.
And I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are hyped for this game and, continue being hyped for it. It just... I did play Crackdown 2, and I was like, this is a really fun game back when it came out.
Yeah,
But
both Crackdown and Crackdown. I mean, Crackdown is fantastic.
Yeah.
Crackdown 2 definitely downgrade.
yeah,
Both games are great.
Yeah.
Like super fun.
but it's just like, why? Why is there a third
Yeah.
one?
Well, you would think that
But
they would
didn't
be
they
able to
tease
take
this
that.
like 3 or 4 years ago too, when the Xbox One originally got announced?
Yeah, they talked about Crackdown 3 being an Xbox One launch title
Yeah.
at one point. And obviously,
I
you
guess
know, it didn't
maybe they meant the
become
Xbox
that.
One X.
They just forgot to add the X on.
Yeah.
It was not quite a trick. It was just a mistake on their
I mean,
part.
that happens. Can't be too mad.
I'm not. I am mad actually.
Oh,
I'm mad that Crackdown 3 is existing in its current state. It's really a shame because
yeah.
I was, you know, I would love a Crackdown game that was up to par with today's technology, and you know, Crackdown 3 is going to be an Xbox One X launch title. It's going to come out when the Xbox One X comes out.
Yeah.
And it was shown alongside the Xbox One X as being like this, you know, super powerful 4K game. And when you see it in person, it's just like not there.
Okay,
It
let's
just-
also put that aside for a second, because I don't know about you, but I really could care less if a console can output at 4K resolution. You know, I would much rather have 1080p resolution with like 60 frames a second on lock and have higher res textures than have a 4K res.
I would agree with you. I don't even own a 4K TV right
No,
now.
me neither. Like, they're so expensive.
Yeah, so they're selling to a market. They're marketing to a market of gamers who, on a whole, I like to think that me and you fall in the bracket of like a pretty typical gamer, right?
I would say we're hardcore gamers, to be honest. Like, I don't think there's really a day that goes by where I don't play some sort of video game.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that we maybe are tipping the scale a bit towards like being more than just casual, you know?
Well,
Like
I mean,
buy
we
video
watch
games pretty frequently,
E3 as
and
well, right? So that's a bit different, like,
Yeah.
than the typical gamer. But I mean, I also understand, because Microsoft did say, you know, the Xbox One X isn't for the typical gamer. It's for
Right.
the hardcore gamers.
Right. That makes sense. You know, because I feel like the people who are going to be buying an Xbox One X on launch are people who,
Have a 4K
Are
TV
buying-
with a huge surround system.
yeah, and who are buying into that like idea of having the most powerful console.
Yeah.
You know, like
I mean, that it is what it is, right? But like, you need games for that as well, and I didn't really see many games that they showed off that made me go, huh, wow, I really like E3 this year.
well, go to any E3 2017 cringe compilation videos. You know, because
Yeah,
there's a
shout out
lot
to
of them now.
Crowdcat.
Shout out to Crabcat with the fire video.
Oh yeah.
But go check out any of them because there's plenty, and a majority of them are from the Xbox conferences.
Yeah.
Conference, like they're stuff that was just so cringy at times, and definitely left a poor taste.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. Well, we're hitting an hour, so
Yeah, we should probably cut this.
cut it up.
My dogs are going crazy in the back. I'm sure you guys can hear that.
It's probably just because they're excited about Rayman
Yeah.
and Mario
rabbits.
or the rabbit.
Anyway, so yeah, thanks for listening to this. We're gonna try and do a podcast, I think, once a month. You know, maybe in the future we'll be able to get that down to once every 2 weeks or once every 3 weeks or something.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
we'll
this
talk
is
about that.
a good, I think a solid first ep.
Yeah,
You know,
that was
'Cause
a
it's
good one.
like about an hour.
So
You know,
yeah,
kind of long, but I mean, podcasts are usually an hour long anyway. So.
thanks for listening.
If you're still around, if you haven't given up by the, I feel like maybe we lost some ears by the time we got to my story. But anyway,
Thank you
thanks
very
for watching,
much.
everyone. All right, listening.
Bye.
Bye bye.